There we go. All right, so as most of you know, we record all of these sessions and we do store them all. So if you are registered on the Eventbrite, then you'll get an email after this presentation or after this coaching session. You'll get an email, and then we will in that email, this recording will be there and other recordings will be there from previous weeks, so you can actually play catch up. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing that I haven't really announced, and we'll get you guys an email out very soon, is, well, actually we did talk about it a few weeks ago. We said that I was going to be develop a platform for all of us to be able to coach in and connect in. So that platform is in the works, and we actually loaded the first course in there, and the first course happens to be the mastermind that we held here in South Florida a couple weeks ago. So those of you that didn't make it because you're here all the time, you're going to get free access to that mastermind. So it's going to be a lot of great information on there. Man, I got to tell you, the mastermind was crazy. It was phenomenal. It was, the information that was coming out was insane. You know, and I treat my masterminds a little bit differently than most masterminds. Most masterminds bring in special guests, and you know, it's the host that mainly speaks, and maybe the host's best friend or partner or whatever the case is. In our case, what we like to do is keep them small, so we do 30 to 50 people in the room, and we go 3 days and we go for 3 hours a day. And what we do is we rotate people in the room every 20 to 30 minutes. Right. So everyone in the room gets an opportunity if they want the opportunity. You know, we had some newer agents that were like, no, I'm here to absorb. Right. And then we had some really experienced agents with 20 plus years experience get up there and just download on everybody. Right. We had two major CEOs of blockchain companies that are associated to real estate get up and talk about what that meant for us in real estate. So it was a kind of weekend that just kind of left you like, holy crap, I got so much catching up to do in my life and in this business. So it was a lot of fun. So we did load the course in there. I'm going to give you guys access. It'll either be this week or the following week. And so what I'm going to do is all these courses, every single week that we do this, we're going to load this into there. Okay. So, and because I do this every Thursday, no matter what you're going to find is, I'm probably going to start with 2022, and then we'll just load all the courses in there, and then we'll title them all appropriately and do the right thing. And then we'll go, 2023 and 2024 and so forth and so on, and then each year should have somewhere between 40 and 50, videos and coaching sessions. So the idea is, though, that over the next 60 to 90 days, and I'm doing something I never allow myself to do. I'm actually giving myself more time because I'm the kind of guy that's like, all right, I'm going to have 100 videos up in 2 weeks, right? And then I'm going crazy doing it because I said it. So now I got to do it. And my wife the other day, she was like, look, man, you got a lot going on right now. I know you want to put this together, but tell everybody 60 to 90 days, please. So I'm telling you guys 60 to 90 days. Secretly, it might be more like 30 days because I'm impatient like that. So I'm going to pump videos out, and Michael's going to get them in the system for me. And so that's we're expecting to have, I'm going to say, somewhere between 150 to 200 videos and coaching sessions and topics, everything from I don't care if you just got your license yesterday till you've been in the industry 20 years and you're trying to expand or grow or whatever. We're going to have topics on team development. We're going to have topics on expansion teams. We're going to have topics on multi-brokerage and multi-city teams. And I've been doing a lot of research on this, although we have, personally, we have a team that operates in 4 cities. So we get the expansion team. I've got friends that run teams in multiple brokerages. And so I've been talking to them a lot and working with them and trying to understand that concept and why that concept exists for them. And it's very cool to understand, what the concept is for them, and based on area and popularity of a company in an area. He has one team that operates out of a Century 21. And so, here in Miami, C21 is it just, what is that, right? And then, but apparently where he has this team operating from that C21, it is the strongest, most popular brokerage in that market space. So they operate out of that brokerage. And he is actually with a completely different company. So we're going to be bringing all kinds of different options and tasks and everything, because as I always talk to you guys, this is a business. It's your business. Just because we affiliate ourselves with a brokerage doesn't mean that we can't operate at really high levels and do like just stuff that's completely out of the box, right? Again, you're independent contractors, you get that 1099 at the end of the year. So treat it as such, right? You invoice for your check, right? And most of you are saying, what do you mean? I don't invoice for my check. Yes, you do. You submit a documentation, and then you tell them what the commission is, and you tell them what you're supposed to earn on that. They send you back what they call the commission disbursement. That's confirmation on your invoice, and then you get paid. That's what we do. It's our business, right? So I want to tap today, first of all, you know how we do this. Every single time we jump in on this meeting, first thing we do is we type in the chat box, it is a freedom day. It's a freedom day. I put it up here. It's a freedom day. I need you guys to focus. It's a freedom day. Pump it inside the chat box for me, will you? Now, you guys know me. I say this to myself. I say it to my wife every morning. Even my partner is saying it now to me when she sees me. It's exciting stuff, right? Because the whole purpose behind the coaching and behind what we do every single week is to offer you guys an opportunity to find your freedom, whatever that means to you guys. Okay. Everybody's freedoms are very different. And I explain this every week because we get new faces, and sometimes people just need to hear it, right? Like, penthouse, Lamborghini, waterfront, that might be one person's freedom. Small fishing boat, Florida Keys house, and a Jeep might be somebody else's freedom. Puerto Rico, house on the beach, Jeep, that might be my freedom. Everybody has different ideology. North Carolina, big farmhouse, 300 acres, horses, cows, and oxes, that might be another freedom, right? So, and so I just want to be able to tell you that whatever your freedom is for you is perfect. It's okay. Strive for those goals. I always say add 20, 30% to that, so that you can always surpass your goal, right? Because it doesn't hurt to surpass your goal, right? You want to make 100 grand this year, aim for 125, right? Because if you aim for 100, you'll always hit close to or at 100. It's just human nature. It's the way our mind thinks, right? But if you aim for 125, you might always surpass 100. And that means that you're good. That was your goal. That was your setting. That's what you want. I always tell folks, I'm big thinker. Like when you guys, if you guys ever saw my me updating my business every day, I come look at this and I just start, wait, this doesn't make sense anymore. Let's play with that. Oh, let's do this. Oh, I like this. And I change things around consistently and I'm moving with it. And I have my flow. And so because I'm that person, a lot of times when I talk to people, I'm like big. And then I had this one lady one time, I have a great coaching session, had like 60 people in the room. She walks out to me, she says, Dave, I don't want to be a top producer. And some of you have heard this story before. She says, I don't want to be a top producer. And, thank God that there was like a filter between my brain and my mouth, because immediately I wanted to go, what are you talking about? Like, who doesn't want to make real money, right? And she looked at me and she gave me a very compelling argument. She said, I'm a single mom. I got 2 small kids. She said, my townhouse is almost paid off, so I'm going to have it paid off soon. I need to make $60,000 a year because it's more important for me to go to the basketball games, football games, cheerleading events, school parent teacher stuff, volunteer at the school. She said, it's more important for me to be in their lives than it is to not be in their lives and be at work all the time. And so that was a really great, compelling argument for me. And I said, you know what? You've taught me something today. So let's sit down and let's look at this together. She's a rock star. I haven't heard from her in about a couple of years, but I see her in social media. seems to be doing great. Kids are growing, you know, and everyone seems to be very happy. She made her point. That was her freedom point. Her freedom point, though, might shift, right? Kids go off to college and she might say, maybe I want to do more, or maybe I just want to do less now, right? Maybe I just want to chill a little bit. Maybe I've set myself up for life. Maybe her freedom is paying off that townhouse and never, ever having a mortgage again. Where some of us on this group right now are like, how can I get to 15 houses, 20 houses, 30 houses, 40 houses? How can I have a portfolio so big that like it keeps me up at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering if everybody's going to pay their rent this month, right? You know, and so some of us thrive off of that. Others don't care for that thrive, right? So the reason I showed you this stuff in the background was because we spent significant time breaking stuff around here, sorry. We spent significant time talking about all the things that are necessary to operate and run a business. So we're really coming to the very tail end of what is the SOP training, right? The standard operating procedure training. And so for those of you that are listening right now, you're going, damn, I missed like 13 weeks of this shit already. It's okay. First of all, we're going to give you the recording. Second of all, you're going to get free access to the platform, right? And third of all, what you learned today does not take away or is not piggyback to everything else permanently. What you learned today, you can adapt right away without having to go back and look at everything else, although it will help, right? And so what I like to do is mind maps. I'm a big mind map guy. That's sort of what you saw on the other side. There's different ways to do it, right? Typically, my initial way of mind mapping was having my company. So let's say I want to focus on the Kurz team. Let's talk about the Kurz team, right? So, and we'll talk about the Kurz team because it's 100% focused on real estate and real estate sales, right? And so immediately I would put that name there and I would dial down and I would first, my first question is, who runs the Kurz team? Who's in charge of the Kurz team? Okay. So I put DK, David Kurz, and JE, Janetta Chavidia. Equal partners, 50-50. That's who operates the team. Then I would say, what are our responsibilities as owners of this team, individually, and how we operate it, right? And then I would take this and I would down here, and I would spread across, and then I would begin building topics for the team. So let's go locations, right? Because I told you that we are an expansion team. So I'll say Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Northern Virginia. That's where we're located, right? And then I could take this down one more step and say future locations. And we could say Maryland and DC, right? And so by understanding that very beginning, I can already operate under the assumption that based on the tasks that we have here, one of those people is going to be in charge of locations and expansion into those locations. And so the reason I'm showing you this is because what I want you guys to work on when we finish this is I want you to begin working on what we would consider to be your mind maps for your business and the things that you're developing. So the way this goes is we go continuance, social media presence. We talked about that. Continuance, lead flow. How do we develop lead flow? Okay, we talked about that consistently, right? Operations. How do we run operation? Okay, we talked about that a lot recently, right? And we can keep going and keep going and keep going. Systems, and who's in charge of putting the systems together, right? And consistent development on this, right? Now, this mind map right here can expand so huge. And so the reason that I start with this is your basic mind map. This is your basic layout. This is everything we need to do. And at some point, I take a picture of this and I put it on my computer screen and I come back to this and I erase this. And what do you think I start doing? I start dialing down on these pieces. So I can create an entire board on how we're going to adapt in social media, how we're going to post on social media, what our colors are going to be, what our marketing platform is going to be, is it what percentage of video it will be. And if we really get granular into it, we could be focused on what video topics will I put out and how often will I put them out. So give you a perfect example. Right now, we have the coaching platform coming up soon. I'm not just going to come up to the computer, grab the camera and say, okay, cool, and just spit out a bunch of shit. It's going to be planned accordingly, right? So I have a list of 150 plus videos, topics that I need to go through. And so one at a time, I'm going to hit a video for each and every one of those topics. And I'm going to plan it out, script it out, some of them. Some of them I don't need to script out because I've taught it so many times it's here. But some of these things might need to be scripted out. And so I have that entire plan that could go into my social media play for you, for instance, right? Because you guys are not building videos for a coaching platform. You're building a video library that you can have in consistent posting. Some of you follow me on social media and you know that I've recently made a change in my business, right? So with that change in my business, we planned out with my marketing guy, sat down, we said, okay, how do we want to put the message out? Where most people will just, throw up on the phone, hey, I just want to let you guys know I did this, and then it's over. We came out with a methodical plan. We mapped it out. We said, we're going to do video. How many videos do we need and what are the topics? When are you coming over to do the videos? How many do we record today and how many record on day 2? How often do they get put out and where do we space it out? And then what do we do if that video gains attention? How do we piggyback on it? And does that alter the plan? So for instance, if I do a video today and I talk about a restaurant that I went to and it gets good feedback, then tomorrow I put out another video about the interest rate change and how it affected 2 of my buyers. That one might spark something and you're going to see it because people are going to start commenting and you're going to return comments. And that may shift your plan, your video plan, because if you've gained momentum there, you might say, okay, tomorrow I had a plan to put out a video on a new store that came into the neighborhood, into my market, but I'm going to push that out a couple of days because we have massive attention on this one thing, which is the interest rate and how it affected 2 of my buyers. So how do I piggyback on that? Tomorrow, I go live on social media with my lender. And we talk about how it's affecting buyers all over the world or all over the country or whatever in my local area. And we have a 30-minute conversation on a live talking about this situation. So the reason I bring that up is because I want you to incorporate that into your mind map. I want you to incorporate into your mind map that there will be shifts. So instead of saying on January 2nd, I'm going to do this, say this is video 1. And then 2 days later, video 2 goes out. And 2 days later, video 3 goes out. And always have an intermission piece. If something picks up really well, jump in, add some additional videos, push out the other ones, and you still have your 2-day gap barrier. You guys with me? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me, right? Okay, awesome. So now I want to show you something that Jeannie and I, we went to when we got success certified for our training as coaches, which was a really cool certification that we received. And when we did this, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Give me 1 second. We ended up being introduced to this program called MindMeister. And so I want to show this to you guys because if you're a techie now, this is a free platform. You can have it paid and it has some other extra bells and whistles, but it is a free platform. Now, before we go into like this whole digital thing, these mind maps can be created on a notebook, on a writing pad on a whiteboard, like you guys see I do it, right? If you have an iPad, there's a really cool app called Notably. I've got a ton of mind maps inside my Notably. And so I'm going to show you one just called Real Estate Business General kind of setup. This is a mind map. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a real estate business. That's the centerpiece, right? So this is my real estate business. Let's get into the business entity, right? So is it a legal entity? How many business units are there? And what are the business expenses? And then we expand from business expenses. I'm the rainmaker. What's my income? How much do I spend on marketing, transaction coordination, licensing, coaching? Because a lot of people leave those things out, right? Especially licensing and CE, okay? Then you push out team members, agent commissions. If you're running a team, you know that you have to pay commissions to your team members, or if you own a real estate business, right? You're gonna pay splits off to the agents that are 1099 with you. Administrators, virtual assistants, right? Then we can come back. What's my leverage? Systems, people, tools, planning, CRM choices, team. What are receivables, inflows, salaries, distributions, other sources? Then look how I change colors because we go into personal finance, payables, personal budget, marketing. What's my strategy, my niche, my tools, marketing plan, prospecting. We're focusing on FSBOs, right? Lead generation. Now this really flies out, right? Online leads. What are my sources? Some free sources, KV Core, paid referrals like Homelight and Opcity, right? Paid actual systems, not referral, but paid lead systems. Tiger Leads, YLopo, Zillow, Make It Rain, Realtor.com, right? Who's my avatar, right? We had that conversation big time, right? And so you can tap into that. What's my why? Didn't we have that conversation, right? Why purpose? You know, provide options and solutions to property owners going through distress. Positively help people with dreams. Real estate investment portfolio wealth. New friends, right? Why do we even run a business? Freedom and flexibility, right? So this is stuff right here that allows you to just, this is that one like where you say, let's throw stuff on the wall and see what sticks, right? So we're throwing stuff on the wall here and we're getting ourselves organized in our businesses. This to me is one of the most important first steps when it comes to business planning. I'm sure that you guys have been to 100 business planning clinics. You've been to a ton of them. And what you're going to find at these business planning clinics is that they give you a ton of information, right? And then they just go, all right, cool, go plan, you know? And so they almost make it seem like your business plan is going to be complete in like 24 hours. Like you're just going to, you know, have a couple Red Bulls and go in on your business plan. It just doesn't work that way. And so what I'm challenging you guys to do is begin building this out. We are in Q3, right? It's time. Next year is already here. Like the holidays are around the corner. I know that sounds crazy, but it is so true. All right. I've got a big conference here in South Florida, November 2nd with Tom Ferry. I thought I still had all the time in the world. I looked at the numbers the other day and I was like, oh my God, we better start promoting this thing, right? Because November 3rd is around the corner. Thanksgiving is around the corner. Christmas is around the corner. And what happens in November and December to most realtors, to their businesses? They start scaling back because they're busy with family. They got visitors. They're on vacation. They went everywhere else. I've always played December very differently. I've always doubled down on December. And so you guys can take my advice or not. My wife is super supportive of me doubling down in December, but I've always doubled down in December. Why do I believe in that? Because almost every other agent checked out November 15th. Like just checked out. And so I go ham, extra ham in November and December, and I double down on my marketing, on my push, on my conversations, on my relationships. What an opportunity to call every single person on my phone and say, happy Thanksgiving, right? What an opportunity to call every single person on my phone and say, hey, I hope you're having a wonderful holiday, right? Because although a lot of realtors are going to send a lot of text messages, you're going to make those calls and you're going to let them know, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in town if you need anything real estate related. I'm not going anywhere. Right? And so it allows me to work with people who are looking to work with someone else, but that someone else disappeared for 30 days. And so now I get all that business, and guess who's receiving commissions checks in January, and guess who's not? Why is January and early February always the slowest months for real estate agents? Because they ain't got no money coming in. Now they start freaking out. And now they can't find a client for nothing in the world because all the clients spend all their money on Christmas gifts. So they're like, oh, we're not ready yet. We're going to do our taxes. I'll be ready sometime between now and April 15th. Right? Right? So setting yourself up and truly understanding how you're going to push the business, these are all pieces and all tools that you can put in the business, right? And so I challenge you guys to build out multiple mind maps and multiple settings, right? So you got like, we took this from the success achievement setup, and so we broke this down, and this allowed us to really start going in, like get clear on long-term aspirational objectives. This is like, my stuff, right? Create 1-year aspiration plan, break down clear, smart goals into micro sprints, right? Backing, next actions, doing, done. This allows me, and you can take these, you can move them around, you can push them around, you can expand them out so you have more space. This is cool to do it on here. Again, you can use a piece of paper, you can use a whiteboard, shit, you can use the walls in your office if you want to, okay? They're paintable, you paint over them, don't worry about it, right? The reason that I tell you this is because for us to get into the next 2 sessions on true business planning, you have to have a foundation on what you're thinking about. Okay, this was the New You Real Estate Conference last year. This is how we played it out. This was cost, sponsorships, venue, hotel, guest list, marketing, catering, optionals, ticket sales, what each ticket platform looked like, how much it was going to be, right? Again, breaking it all down. I could take each one of those topics and create a new mind map, a new page, a new whiteboard, a new wall, and say, all right, let's break this down granular, especially the marketing piece and the lead generating piece. Because even for a conference, someone has to get on the phone and call real estate agents everywhere and say, hey, we're hosting a conference on November 2nd with Tom Ferry. I would love for you to come. Can I send you the link? Right? Somebody has to sit there and do that. You cannot be dependent, even for a conference, you cannot be dependent on putting some ads on social media and a few billboards up and down the highway and cross your fingers and hope it works. You actually got to put in the work. So for your real estate business, it's the same exact thing. You're going to be pushing out social media, but you can't just depend on that. You're going to be pushing out, maybe you got some billboards, but you can't be just dependent on that. You have to be able to pick up the phone, put in the actions, make the calls, and make things happen, right? So let that continue to be a piece of your heart. I don't know if there's anything really critical and important here. Jeannie might kill me, but like you see how we did this right here? The Kurz team right here, okay? And then I've got Jeannie here, right? And everything that she does, and David here, and everything that I do, and then ideas for teams, gifts and awards for teams, create brand exposure. We got our $100 million sales goal. We got sliding scale split systems, like everything that we discuss, it's all on here. And then we can dial down on each one because we've really dug into it. Okay. I have a company called SDAC Core Organization. So we're starting to work on those things and see what that looks like, right? So we're just kind of playing around with it. That's a brand new process and idea. That's the corporation that will run our coaching business, our freedom organization, things like that. Am I still frozen, or can you guys still see me?
You're frozen.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
frozen.
You guys got to tell me something, man.
I was watching the presentation.
Oh, but the presentation's moving okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the presentation
Yeah.
on the
All right.
voice is
I
good.
was more focused on that. Sorry.
David,
Yeah.
I didn't know you had such beautiful eyes.
Listen, I am not as important as the presentation. I'm gonna stick to the presentation. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, so I'm going to challenge you guys this week, and what I want you to do is, focus on this one right here, okay? And so check it out. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to have Michael add it to the email that we send out. Fair enough for you guys? And so I want to make sure this is going to give you just a really, really, really good setting on the things that you should think about when you're thinking about what am I going to put on my mind map. And so one of the things I want you to do is right away in the very center is the name of your business, right? So if you're, Roger Crummett, team, that's the name of your business. You put that right in the middle. And then I want you to expand from that. And I want you to think about income. I want you to think about expenses. I want you to think about lead flow. I want you to think about prospecting options. I want you to think about marketing. I want you to think about recruiting, because if you're a team, you're recruiting agents all the time, just like a brokerage is. Okay. I want you to think about leverage. How are you leveraging yourself? Basically, just about every single topic we've talked about for going on 13 weeks now. Okay. I want you to think about your why, put it on there, right? And make it prominent, make it understandable, make it visible, make it seen, right? And so as you continue to do this and build this out, by next week, you guys should already have kind of dialed down and expanded out on the things that are critical and important for your business, where you're getting your business. And like with marketing, let's say lead generation, right? Maybe you're not using Zillow or realtor.com, but maybe you intend to at some point, right? So in marketing, split it, what I'm doing now and what I intend to do, right? And so put all the stuff that you're doing now, whether it be door knocking, social media platforms, Google ads, whatever the case is, and then go into intend to. And in intend to, I would love for you guys to put what you intend to do for marketing, but then tie a time frame or an income amount to that. So meaning I'm gonna start using Zillow.com when and only when I've been doing this other thing for 6 months, or by February 1st, 2023, or by the time I have X amount of dollars in the bank, right? So like a lot of times when I coach agents that are fairly new and they want one of these systems, I tell them, do me a favor, save 4 to 5 months of what you expect to spend on that and put it in the bank, separate savings account. This is your Zillow account. If that's what you want to do and that's what you want to focus on, how much you want to spend on it. Dave, I want to spend $2,000 a month. That's going to get me a good spot in my area. Great. Save 4 or 5 times $2,000 a month. Put that away in the bank. When you have that, as long as you're coaching with me, when you have that, then you're allowed to go into the Zillow or realtor.com. Until you have that, you're not allowed to. Okay, why is that, David? Because most realtors think you're going to sign up for Zillow.com and on month 1, you're going to get a deal. And a lot of times it just doesn't work that way. Some people, yes, most people no, right? So what happens on month 2, you might get a good deal, or month 3, you might get that good deal. Then you got to show them houses for a couple of weeks. Then you got to get them under contract. Then you got to track that contract. Hopefully it just closes in the next 30 days. And it's like the perfect contract ever, or it gets extended 45 days, or it falls apart. And now you got to hit the road again, right? And so you need to have these things in mind. So what you're doing is you're buying yourself a 4-month buffer to see a return on investment. Or is the ROI decent? Yeah, if you spend 2 for 6 months and you close 2 deals and you make an average of 10 grand per deal, do the math, right? So people tell me, people always ask me, is it worth it? I go, it really depends on your area. Zillow and realtor.com, things like that don't work in every single area, just like billboards, in my opinion, don't work well in Florida, in Miami. Let me rephrase that, in Miami, right? And the reason they don't work well in Miami is because we have a billboard every 6 seconds. Everybody's more concerned with the traffic that's going on the road, with the 7 billion cars that are on the road. So nobody's really looking up. But yesterday I was in Stewart and I mentioned billboards, and everyone in the room agreed that billboards are phenomenal in Stewart, Florida. And they work really, really well, right? So you have to really understand your market. You need to study your market. You need to know your market. Now, next week, we're going to do a couple things. I want you guys to have massive focus on this. And I want you guys to start putting your spider out, your mind map, put it out, okay? Figure out all the stuff that you have going on in your business and how you're going to structure your whole business together, okay? Then next week, we're going to go into market numbers. I'm going to invite a guest over with us on Monday, next Monday, and we're going to go into market numbers and understanding the last 6 months of your market and truly dialing down on the numbers. So next week, after you learn that, your task is going to be to study your market for the last 6 months. And this is going to be a task because you're going to have to go in, and then every Monday, you're going to have to update this sheet, and it's going to be working for you and working for you and working for you. And 6 months from now, you're going to have a better understanding of your market than anyone else sitting in your market. Okay, so start with this. Then we're going to go into numbers. And the reason we're not going to immediately jump into the last couple sessions of the business planning is because you need to know your numbers and know your market before we can talk about the final business plan. And then we're going to help you kind of settle down and understand how to build out the business plan, thinking backwards, going all the way back to your 5-3-1. Remember when we talked about the 5-3-1 very early on, your 5-year, 3-year, 1-year plan, right? We're going to come back to this. We're going to look at this mind map because everything that you've learned over the last 10, 13 weeks should be applied into this mind map. And if you don't remember, just click the links on the videos and go back and watch some of them. Attach it to the mind map. Next week, we dig into numbers. Week after that, dude, your mind should have an amazing understanding of where you're supposed to be in this business and how you should be intending to market over the next coming months. Now, is there a shift? Yes, there's a shift. Is the interest rate somewhere between 5 and 6%? Yes. Is that scary? I don't think so. It's freaking normal. Like that's a normality, folks. Okay. I remember when people had interest rates at 8 to 11%. I remember 16%, guys. Okay. I've been in this industry long enough. I wasn't in the industry when 16 happened, but I was when it was 8 and 11. Okay. I was when interest only loans were done at 7-8%. Okay. Like I've seen it all, guys. And I'm telling you right now, interest rates between 5 and 6% is not scary. Shit, interest rates at 8% is not scary. Do you know why it's not scary for you guys? Because you guys are doing this. And while most real estate agents are not doing this and they're not trying to better themselves and they're not trying to understand the numbers and they're only regurgitating what some other realtor said on an Instagram reel, and that's where they get the basis of their market information, you guys are going to better understand the market. You guys are better going to understand your business. And then you're going to be able to apply it at a very strong personal fashion. And while those folks go back to working at TGI Fridays, you're going to still be here selling real estate. Because newsflash, no matter what market we're in, market rise, market crash, COVID, what was still selling and what was still moving? People and property. 100%. We sell the one commodity everyone wants and needs. The one. All right. So even if the world crashed tomorrow, our next video session would be 100% on how to adapt to the REO market and the short sale market and how to help your clients with that, which is something coming in the future weeks we're going to be doing. All right. I'm very good friends with the guy who runs the CDPE certification. So it's the Certified Distressed Property certification. I'm going to invite him on as a guest to talk to us. So we're going to have some fun times in the coming weeks. And I want to open up the floor. Anybody got any questions or anything that they want to ask before we cut off? Dude, we're doing great. It's 11:44, so feel free. All right.
Great session, David. I don't have any questions, but I want to talk to you about your team, how you're doing that now sometime.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Whenever you like. Whenever you like. Just shoot me a text message and I'll send you my calendar link. You got my phone number? I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Here. That's my personal cell phone number.
Okay, thanks.
Just shoot me a quick text, and I'll send you my calendar link, and we'll just set 30 minutes aside for us to chat it up. All right, guys, if that is all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. Very tied into the next couple weeks. So show up, put the effort in, please do this mind map exercise. It's going to be freaking awesome for you. You're going to love it. I can see Jeannie smiling. She loves this shit. Like, you guys, I'm telling you, this works. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. All right. Y'all
Hey,
take care.
David, I know you moved to LPT.
Yes.
For those who want to find out more, can we just text you?
Yep. 100%.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you.
brother. Thank you.
See you.